Metamorphie! Fociesse! It was a mistake! I can fix it, I swear! Metamorphie! Fociesse!
You know what? It's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm a VTuber. I'm sure someone is into this. Welcome to Monster Menagerie, where we break down your favorite pop culture monsters and see how they might stack up against the Paladin Order. I'm your humble host, Mason Kren. Mason is my title, Kren is my name. This year, we've been looking at witches in pop culture, and I think I've come across another amazing candidate. Check it. Young girl, a little weird, can't do basic magic at first, backed by two loyal besties from the magical world, mentored by a powerful outcast, and rivals with a green-haired noble from an elite magic family. Wait. Today is Luz? No, Akko, yes. Atsuko Kagari from Little Witch Academia. Similarities aside, it was pretty fun to watch Little Witch Academia immediately after Owl House, though their season was much longer. I don't normally watch an entire series when analyzing something, usually just season 1, but Netflix is weird. Enough said. Before we get too deep into our analysis, I just want to remind you that if you like what you see here at the archives, don't forget to like and subscribe and... Huh? Maddie, do I have to say it? No one says smash that like button anymore. But it's so cringy. Smash that like button and ring that bell. I feel dirty. Okay, grab your shiny rod and your boundless optimism and let's soar into today's analysis of Atsuko Kagari.
Metamorphie! Fociesse!
Normally, I only look at season 1 of an anime or show, but because Netflix is weird, I ended up watching both parts, which are technically one season? Split into two? It's unclear, but the point is, I watched from beginning to end. Not the movies, though. Although, maybe I should have done those instead. Anyway, as a friendly reminder, Little Witch Academia has a lot of twists and turns, so this is your official spoiler warning. Atsuko Kagari was a normal girl, excitable, ambitious, and bursting with optimism. Her life was forever changed when she attended a live performance by her idol, the witch Shiny Chariot. It wasn't just inspiring, it was formative. That one show convinced her to follow her dreams, applied to Luna Nova Magical Academy, and, though she didn't realize it at the time, it also took something from her. Akko was accepted into Luna Nova, allegedly because the school was on hard times and lowering its entry standards. Oof. She quickly teams up with her soon-to-be besties, Lotte and Susie, and the trio navigates chaos, including a giant cockatrice, just to get to their opening ceremony. By sheer luck and anime destiny, Akko stumbles across the shiny rod, her idol's lost artifact. Without knowing how, she activates it, utters the first of the 7 words, and uses the rod's magic to get everyone safely to the ceremony. I said safely, not gracefully. From there, it's a long string of magical misadventures. Akko's magical aptitude is, well, let's say her report card isn't exactly glowing. Whether it's broom riding or metamorphosis spell, she struggles with pretty much everything. Some of that's on her, sure. But a lot of it tends to be because she can't do magic. Not in the traditional sense, not yet. And still, through relentless optimism and the power of shonen tier determination, Akko manages to win over the right people in the weirdest of ways, keeping her spot at Luna Nova and slowly gaining respect from students and staff alike. Except Diana Cavendish, of course, her elite green-haired magical rival who's definitely not her enemy and definitely not her, Okay, well, look, if you watch The Owl House, you can see what they were going for here. Studio Trigger just wasn't brave enough to pull the trigger like Dana Terrace did. Although, rumor has it the staff did say that they're a thing. I'm, just saying. Over time, Akko learns more spells, uncovers the rod's secrets, and eventually comes face to face with Professor Croix Merides, childhood friend turned rival of Shiny Chariot, who's now hiding in plain sight as Akko's teacher, Ursula Callistus. Croix is pretty easy to clock. Look at that cool hair, ignores the dress code mysterious past. Also, in any magical setting, tech is always sus. Unless you're Constance. Constance gets a pass. Anyway, turns out Shiny Chariot wasn't just performing flashy illusions during her shows. She was unknowingly siphoning the audience's magical potential to fuel the shiny rod, a plot by Croix to bring the rod's true potential to bear. Also, if you're curious, yes, that is not the name of the rod, it's actually Kleimscholisch. And no, I did not pronounce that correctly. But the most troubling part? One of those audience members was Akko. That one show that inspired her also robbed her of her magical potential. Fortunately, it wasn't permanent. Diana, who was also in that crowd, lost her powers temporarily as a kid too, and she turned out fine. I mean, better than fine, honestly. She's Luna Nova's poster child, which really puts Akko's struggle into perspective. In true anime fashion, Akko and Diana team up, make peace with their mentors' pasts, and utilize the power of friendship and these 7 magic words I found to defeat Professor Croix, forcing her into the Vegeta slot for the single remaining episode. Sadly, her creation takes on a life of its own, feeding on the negative emotions of the populace that have been pushing them toward war over a literal soccer match. And it hijacks a missile. Croix's Magitronics hijack a missile. The final act is pure chaos, with Shiny Chariot and Croix back on good terms. They supercharge the rod, and Akko uses it to create a broom capable of carrying the whole squad. The group of witches then, I kid you not, fly off to intercept the missile like a goddamn Apollo-era rocket, complete with each witch tagging out and falling off the combined broom like boosters. It's glorious. I'm sure you know where it goes from there, even if you've never seen the show. Everyone tags the witch in front of them and passes the baton onward until it's just Akko and Diana. Which I will say was a little surprising. I expected it to be her and her 2 besties, but the show clearly had other ideas. Whether they were echoing Ursula and Croix's bond or something more, it's clear Akko and Diana's relationship is core to the show. After destroying the missile, saving the world, and literally returning happiness to all the land, they return home to a hero's welcome. Life goes back to normal, and our little Akko finally learns to fly. Sort of. Much like Luz before her, we do need to note that Akko is only 16. She's unlikely to be a physical match for a Paladin, but unlike Luz, her spells have a bit more variety, a bit more punch. Unlike Luz, however, she's kind of a moron, so her capacity to leverage that is limited. Let's break it down. Basic spells. Magical blasts. Levitation and object control. Mending magic. Flight magic. She's got a toolkit that looks impressive on paper. In practice, she's hilariously bad at all of them. Akko technically has access to a high range of spells, with everything from energy blasts to levitation, but whether it's due to natural limitations or her own impatience, she shows a profound lack of skill in all of them. Paladins attempting to capture or neutralize her would probably be fine with white vestments, though around Akko, explosions and falling debris are probably going to be the more present dangers, but nothing beyond typical anti-heretic protocols. As I said, she's not terribly talented with any of the basic spells. Well, with one exception. Yes, the metamorphosis spell, Metamorphie Fociesse. I totally butchered that too. Akko's not exactly precise with it. Half the time she doesn't transform into what she intended, and the other half, something happens. But to her credit, she's surprisingly reliable with getting results. Whether it's becoming a mouse or triggering just enough chaos to change the tide, she gets the job done. Eventually, she does learn to shift in and out of her mouse form on command. She doesn't really use it offensively, but it does give her a serious edge in dodging, escaping, and frankly, out-weirding anyone who comes after her. Physically, she doesn't seem like anything special at first glance, but if you pay attention, she excels at speed, strength, and most important, durability. First off, let's look at the episode Bee Commotion. In her efforts to smash that magical bee and end the love spell that's spreading around Andrew's mansion, she performs some Assassin's Creed levels of acrobatics. Here, look at her. Look at her go. But it doesn't stop there. Believe it or not, she's way stronger than she looks. In Sleeping Susie, Akko enters Susie's dreams. She doesn't seem to be able to do anything that she can't do in the real world. Her magic is still awful. She can't, run at super speeds to get to Susie's tower. So I feel like Akko there is still a good reflection of the real world Akko. And that Akko stops a guillotine blade by slapping her hands together. I need to impress upon you just how incredible this is. The average guillotine blade is about 88 pounds or so, and falls from a height of about 2.3 meters. That means it's falling about 6.7 meters per second, or 15 miles per hour. When Akko stops it, it has a momentum of 268 kilograms per meter per second. For a 16-year-old non-combatant, that's insane. Lastly, let's talk about her endurance. Absolute S tier. Akko tanks everything: explosions, energy blasts, blunt trauma, mental trauma, high-speed crashes, magical overloads, falling from obscene heights. Hell, even body horror doesn't knock her down for long. She is the anime equivalent of just walk it off. But if you think I'm exaggerating, let's talk about Shooting Star. This legendary broom operates on its own magic and answers to no one. Wild, sentient, and Akko? She wrote it twice. Not just wrote it, she almost controlled it. The Little Witch Academia wiki claims Akko's about 5'3", or 163 centimeters, slightly taller than average for a 16-year-old Japanese girl, but not so much as to be absurd, so I'll take it. In this scene from episode 3, Don't Stop Me Now, we can measure Akko out to be a total of 531 pixels. Using that as a ruler, we can take the measurements of both the screen and Shooting Star. Akko comes out to 531 pixels. Shooting Star, 689 pixels, which is about 2.1 meters. And the screen, from left to right, 1,565 pixels, or about 4.8 meters. The broom crosses the screen in just 10 frames at 30 frames per second. That means it's moving at 51.9 kilometers per hour, about 32.3 miles per hour. Not blazing fast, but still, you try grabbing a moving car going that speed and holding on without your arm snapping off. But it gets even more ridiculous. In the next 72 seconds, Shooting Star takes her on a world tour. Akko hits a snowfield, dives into the ocean, shoots into the stratosphere, and buzzes a commercial plane, all before returning home. Now we know this isn't a montage, because she returns in time for the race to still be going on. Diana catches her, not acknowledging that Akko's been gone for any noticeable span of time. Now, the nearest ice field to England, where Lunar Nova is, would be over in Iceland. That's about 1,700 kilometers if we round down. Then, we need the nearest ocean, which is conveniently right there, so let's assume there's a sub in the nearest waters about 10 kilometers to the coast. Military submarines tend to dive about 200 meters or so, so from there to just above the clouds is 2 to 3 kilometers. But then we have that jetliner, which would be 10 kilometers up. So far, that's about 1,923 kilometers. But here's the kicker. That jetliner was clearly flying at night, while Luna Nova was midday. If we assume it was noon in England, she would need to go all the way to the US West Coast to get to 4 a.m., where it would be comfortably night. That's 7,000 kilometers from Iceland to California. And then they shoot all the way back to England, 8,500 kilometers or so. In total, that trip roughly is about 17,423 kilometers, or about 10,826 miles. And she makes it in 1 minute and 12 seconds. That means Akko held on, just white-knuckling this thing, while it flew an average of 871,150 kilometers per hour, or 541,307 miles per hour for all of my American friends. Do you understand how insane that is? That isn't jet speed. That isn't rocket speed. It's not even the New Horizons spacecraft speed, the fastest things humans have ever constructed. That is 0.08% the speed of light. That's to the moon in 26 minutes, to Mars in 2.5 days. And Akko not only held on, but hell, just surviving the speeds at all. She left fantasy witch speeds and peaked into Star Trek speeds. At the end of the day, Akko's not a tactical threat in the conventional sense. She's a mess of talent and chaos, barely in control of her powers and rarely aware of the stakes. But if the mission is to hurt her, good luck. Magic barely works, explosions don't faze her, physics cried and left the chat. You'll run out of options before she runs out of stubborn. I'm a Mason here at the Paladin Archives. That means when Paladins are out in the field, facing something weird, wild, or way out of their league, they call me. Hypothetically, I'm here to figure out whether they're fighting a Rougarou or a dog demon, or where the earthly remains of some nasty specter are buried. In practice, they want one thing. How hard is it to kill this thing? And they want it snappy, Mason boy. In that spirit, the Archives utilizes shorthand to help Paladins understand the danger they're in when they face any particular foe. It's not necessarily about how hard it is to kill them, more than it's just kind of like how much danger they present. We call this their threat level. A threat level is a number from 1 to 10, but I must stress the scale ends at 6 for all intents and purposes. You can think of 7 through 10 as hypothetical dangers. Stuff that's probably not possible, and if it is, there's not really a point in telling anyone about it. Why's that? Oh, silly viewer. If there was a level 10 threat, of course we wouldn't tell you. Or parish level paladins, or stewards, or anyone really. There'd be no point. I would never know about a level 10 threat because, well, then we'd all just die afraid. Seems like the humane thing to do. Back on the lower end of things, you should know that the vast majority of our threats are level 1s and 2s, with an occasional 3 peeking in. Fiction, being what it is all about being extra. So, of course, I've handed out 4s and 5s, and heck, I even peeked into a 7 once. But for a regular paladin, being called out to deal with a pixie infestation? Oh, it's 1s all day, baby. which brings us to Atsuko Kagari. She's not an evil mastermind or demonic threat. She's a 16-year-old anime protag with a shiny rod and more enthusiasm than sense. Akko isn't the kind of girl to suddenly go rogue and start her villain arc, but she is the kind of girl to get easily manipulated by the opposing side. Multiple times. Let's break it down. She has magic, but her offensive capabilities are minimal at best, and her flight skills are laughable. She's a tank in terms of durability and can pull off the impossible through raw stubbornness, but she's still very much within the expected wheelhouse of your average anti-heretic paladin. Threat level 1. Single parish deployment with anti-heretic specialist in the lead. Separator from her wand. Without it, magic is impossible. Separator from the school grounds. Prior to the end of the anime, she, and all witches, are reliant on sorcerer's stones to channel magic from the ley lines into their wands and brooms. Simple misdirection tactics along with non-lethal takedown measures should be more than adequate. Paperwork time. Almost done. Let's figure out her witchcraft type. Now, you might have noticed in our dossier that her type is contested. While I'm the final judge on that, I must note that other Masons in the archives had a fierce debate with me over this. To remind you, we have 3 basic types of witches. Hellborn, those that derive their power from demons in exchange for their souls. Covenant, those that derive their powers from artifacts or books, losing a bit of their soul with each spell cast. And Pure, those that derive theirs from natural sources of magic. Less powerful, but much safer. When I brought this up with Mason Cyrus, he smirked and said, "Pure witch, of course." I just stared at him. I said, "Cyrus, her wand literally has a battery. If she steps away from the Sorcerer's Stone, she loses all magic. She's reliant on objects. That's a Covenant witch."
No, Kren. That's just because the ambient natural magic is so low. The actual source of her magic is still the ley lines, which are derived from the World Tree. Yggdrasil.
Standard Covenant witch protocol. Separator from her artifact.
Are you serious?
Well, think of it this way. If a paladin calls in to know which kind Akko is, and I say pure, they're going to be pissed when they figure out they could have just taken her out of range of her battery.
It doesn't matter what the paladins think. That's not accurate. If I get milk from a cow and put it into a bottle, it doesn't suddenly become bottle milk. It's still cow milk.
That's a weird metaphor.
Bite me, Kren.
So yeah, things got ugly from there, and now I'm not invited to Mason Cyrus's slumber party in the Menagerie. Joke's on him. I don't want to sleep next to all that magical animal poop. What was I talking about? Oh, right. Akko relies on a stone and a wand to weave her magic. I don't care if her soul is intact. I'm the boss. Covenant witch. So, what'd you think? Was Akko a bit too close to Luz to be doing them back to back? I thought it was kind of funny going from Luz to Akko. Honestly, I didn't know much about either when I picked out the lineup of witches, so imagine my surprise when these two jumped out at me, practically twinsies here. Still, despite the similarities, I think they both stand out in their own way. I don't know, maybe I just have a thing for the relentless enthusiasm of youth these characters embody. Either way, Akko was fun. And you know, I hope you had fun going on this journey with me. If you liked what we do here at the Paladin Archives, please don't forget to check out our Twitch streams and swing by our website where you can learn more about our debut novel, The Paladin. It's Dresden Files meets Supernatural with just a pinch of Men in Black tossed in for flavor. Our early readers have called it funny, surprising, occasionally nightmare fuel. Links down in the doobly-doo. We're now 4 months in, 4 witches deep. If you caught the Demon Awards, you already know who's coming next, but after that, it's a mystery. So, if there's a witch you're dying to see in the archives, drop a comment and let me know. I'd love to hear your suggestions. Well, I have to head out now. The latest book in the Nightfall series just dropped, and if I don't line up now, I'll... Wait, that's literally the same gag we did last month, wasn't it? Oh, damn it. These shows are the same, aren't they? keep your eyes peeled, I guess. You never know what's hiding out there. I gotta go see which one of them came first.